Welcome to the No Hangover podcast.
You can check us out on all our platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, Anchor, YouTube, Spotify, now with video. Our social media platforms: Instagram at No Hangover Podcast and TikTok _hangover. Enjoy. Bro, that whole fucking, what's his name, Jalen Rashada. Shit.
What a debacle.
Fucking UF. They suck.
It's not all their fault.
It's not.
He ain't worth $13 million.
No, he's not, but why even fucking put that out there? Why even fucking strike that deal and make it seem like it was going to be a thing? Because what I'm hearing now is that they didn't even have the money to fucking pay him $13 million, which...
Yeah, there's more to it than that. So the 13 was over 4 years. It's not a 1-year deal. But a lot of it's up front to get these kids to sign. Yeah. You're not allowed to use money to induce a kid to sign, but
they've been doing it.
That's what it is.
This is what it is now. It's pay for play. It's not NIL. It's pay for play.
Yeah.
At least for high school recruits, I feel like the NIL is more for guys that have already been established. And
that's what I was gonna get to. So like the collective behind UF's like thing is there was an agreement in place for $13 million for Jaden Rashada, and that was the deal that
quarterback, 5-star quarterback,
and his father was representing him, I believe. Maybe there was an agent, but I believe that there was an internal thing. And then certain things weren't met by the time that it was the first day of class at UF. So they listed him as a football player, and it was in their football player directory, but he was not enrolled in classes. And then they tried to iron it out before the ad drop date in college.
Yeah, and that was like last Monday?
It was, and they said by Friday, if we don't have something done, he's gonna open up his recruitment and then just enroll in the fall. So they didn't get it done, and he's back on the market.
Yeah.
But the NIL thing, like Texas A&M does get the kids with money, That's the alleged,
And then Jimbo fucked that up.
I don't even know if you can say alleged at this point. It's pretty
open, out in the open.
Yeah.
They had a fucking giant payroll.
Yeah, $6.2 million allegedly. And then Florida State, I think, has done a really good job with Battle's End, making it a true NIL deal. Like, they did it to keep guys from going to the draft. Like, guys that would have been like third or fourth rounders, maybe later, you can get money for 1 year to bring them back.
Yeah.
They took care of the quarterback. Like, you just take care of certain guys.
Yeah. Which Florida State...
To make sure nobody hits the transfer portal. Yeah.
Which Florida State, they had them... I saw the way too early rankings. They have them at like number 4.
I saw it 6 on some publications.
Yeah, I saw 4 high.
We finished top 11, top 12. Yeah. So we got everyone coming back.
And this is Travis's 3rd year starting?
Jordan Travis will be I think Norvell was his first year. 20 was his first year starting. So 20, 21, 22. Yeah. This will be his 4th year starting.
Yeah, well, that'll get you a high ranking quarterback who's been starting and been pretty productive for the most part.
His trajectory has been insane. Not that I don't think you know who we're talking about. The Florida State quarterback, Jordan Travis. He was a kid who went to Louisville.
That I don't.
Went to Louisville, transferred out of there after he got alleged there was just harassment from coaches, and, bullying type of thing, and that whole staff got fired. So I believe him. Went to Florida State, and he never threw the ball. He was there for Willie Taggart, and they didn't use him all season. They used him in a bowl game, and he only ran the ball for 60 yards on one play. And everyone's like, "We've had this kid on the bench." Florida State was terrible that year. What? And then he got the next couple years, he could throw the ball a little, but
he wasn't really.
And then some out of nowhere this past year, he just became elite.
Guy.
He was if you look at Pro Football Focus and those people with PFF grades and all that stuff, he was the number 1 quarterback in the country. I don't think he's the best quarterback in the country.
But I also feel like that plays into he's just getting starts and he's
getting better. Yeah,
he's just the college game only gives you so much that you have to take in as a quarterback. After
there's
2
open
years,
guys.
Yeah, after 2 years of starting, if you have you know who you're playing for the most part in your conference, and then Mike Norvell is a pretty good coach, so he's gonna scheme people open, and you just got to make the right reads, and that's why a lot of guys that flourish in college that have been 3-4 year starters don't necessarily pan out in the NFL.
Yeah, and I'm not under the
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do much in the NFL. He'll get a shot for sure, but I don't that he will turn into anything.
Because he's on like the way too early favorites for the Heisman. He's on the short
he's
list
not
for
that tall either, is he?
6'2".
Is he? I thought he was shorter than that.
No, he's an average size quarterback. He was thin for a while,
that's probably
and now
what it
he's
was.
not too thin. I'm excited
Good
though.
old fucking college football. Yeah, I mean, it definitely, the NIL pay for play shit definitely adds a different element to it, and it makes it more of a year round sport now.
Oh yeah, I was listening to a CBS podcast called Cover 3. It's really good with Danny Cannell.
I love Danny Cannell.
Why am I blanking?
Is it on? Is he on like signed to like a network, or is he just his own?
I think he signed to CBS.
Oh.
I think
because he kind of disappeared there for a little bit.
Yeah.
After he left ESPN.
I know he's got a serious show, but they Tom Fornelli, Bud Elliott, and Chip Patterson's the four guys of them just talking ball.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like expanding the college football calendar because the NFL owns the calendar.
Yeah.
They found a way to make it a year-long sport, and if college football could like move signing day to the summer or something like that, like make it 12 months you care about college football.
They're on their way. I mean, just the fact that it's football, even though college is a little bit more regional. I mean, you're still, it's going to draw eyes.
Plus, I mean, certain people don't even watch the NFL. Some people are diehard college fans. Like,
but it's
ride
more.
or die.
It's more the other way. There's more people that watch NFL football that don't watch college football than watch college football and don't watch NFL.
Well, because there's 32 teams,
Yeah.
so everyone can kind of like pick a team that you're probably going to be decent at some point in the team's history. Whereas college, there's 130 D1 college football teams, like not counting D2 or D3. It's hard to just
NAIA.
People feel more
and
connected
the guys
to
change
college
every
teams.
year in college.
I feel like they would feel certain fandom.
College football is definitely, the fan bases are more passionate about their teams.
The drunk
for
kids,
sure.
the drunk college kids.
I mean, even fucking like alumni and all these boosters and shit
people who
that
are
fucking
paying
throwing money, like the fan base is definitely like, college atmosphere is definitely a lot more passionate. You definitely feel that shit a lot more than an NFL game. But I mean, the
it's
NFL
bread.
Again,
it's literally bread.
It's the NFL. It's the best of the best. It's fucking. That's what we live for in this country. Is the best of the best, and that's what the NFL is, and the most popular sport in this country. So,
yeah.
One more thing before we move on, the college football playoff expanding. I think they went a little overboard with 12.
With 12, I think
they should have stuck with 8 if they were gonna go up. Just add another 4 teams, get all conference champions, and then 3 at large.
3 at large. I only enjoy it because the home game aspect. Like the fact that you're going to have like round 1.
Yeah.
Like in Tuscaloosa, Alabama versus like USC.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be fun. Or somebody has to go to the big house in the middle of dead winter and it's like a speedy like Auburn or something like that. Like you're throwing another element of like, well, we earned home field, so now you have to come play in the snow, or you have to come play in
our house,
like 100,000. Like imagine the Swamp hosts a college football playoff game.
That'd be fucking wild.
Like that's gonna be tough for somebody to walk into.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely thought they should expand it, but 12 I thought was a little much. I feel like they're kind of overcompensating for
everyone complaining.
Yeah, but fuck it, more football. So at the end of the day.
I think we're gonna lose regular season games before, because I think people care about like whether it's right or wrong, or whether it's like not right or wrong, whether it's honest or not. People are going to complain about player safety.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go to like 10 regular season games, something like that, and then pull the playoff from December through January.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Because you can't just have these kids. Right now, if you're playing a college football championship game, you're playing 15 games out there. Like that's...
Yeah,
dangerous. But like that's
that money talks, especially in college football. That money fucking talks. Like, if obviously
there's money to be made out there.
Yeah, until recently, I mean, there wasn't no NIL or pay for play, and they were expanding games, making playoff and shit like that. So I mean, to your point, they might be saying, "Oh yeah, player safety," but in the back of everyone's mind, we all know it's a fucking money grab. They're gonna do what's in the player's best interest as long as they are still gaining.
Yeah, they're going to try and keep the players as safe as they can while executing.
Exactly. So, I mean, and again, like the nature of the sport, obviously you're hitting each other. You're flying fucking 12, 15 miles an hour and fucking
faster than that.
12, 15 miles an hour.
No, I'm talking about like on an average, like little fucking, because people are hitting in the NFL now are hitting top speeds when they're in the open field of 20, 22 miles an hour. So I'm talking about like when you're in a play, you're not necessarily moving full speed at that. Like,
no, but you're not gaining top speed like that. But you're probably hitting like 17. Yeah, you're hitting like 17 miles an hour.
Because I mean, think about just you on a normal like. Your running speed. How fast do you think you are?
And it's not like 40 time. It's like your peak speed.
Yeah, like you're just running.
I don't fucking know.
I feel like you could at least probably get close to like 18.
Yeah, that's 17, 18.
17, 18, 19.
Thanks.
Yeah, just because I mean, if you're open in your open field, as fast as you can go.
They wear those GPS sports bra things now. Yeah. I mean, you got high school kids running 22s, 23s.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
that's not in pads, but
you ever saw like the kids when they did that thing like showing people run on a treadmill?
Yeah, they can get up. Yeah, like running at 25.
Yeah, like people just getting it. So I feel like, especially college kids, there's some of these athletes,
the nutrition of the best, the training of the best, the weightlifting. Some of these
athletes are already damn near pro ready. So like those guys,
not damn near. I mean, there's an argument. This is a good point you just like brought up. There's an argument to be made that like kids should not have to wait 3 years in college football. Like back in the day, I think there was a huge difference between NFL size and college size. But you getting these kids now.
I mean they're getting the reps.
Not all of these kids, but some of these kids are like Leonard Fournette should not have played 3 years at LSU.
No,
he was league ready coming out of high school. Yeah. Caleb Williams, it sucks that he has to wait another year to get drafted first overall.
I think it might.
I mean, it's good for the sport.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. What would you suggest? Because they can't do a one and done. It's not going to be like the NBA.
I think
that's unsafe.
Maybe a 2 year.
Yeah, I would think 2 years.
Knock it out in 1 year.
Yeah, because most of the times after their sophomore year, they're already talking about next they would be projected number one if they were coming out this year.
And usually they're sitting out or not playing as much their junior year because they're like,
not necessarily.
You don't see. You saw that for like a blip in the radar type.
And they were just only sitting out for bowl games.
And you really don't even see that anymore. Yeah, like you'll see opt outs for the bowl games, but
it's when it's like not significant. Like you still got players, and which I think there was a few this year that actually sat out of a couple playoff games. But I'm not 100% on that.
Smith and Jigba opted out after his injury. He opted out before the college football playoff.
Yeah, but most of the time you're seeing guys, it's meaningless bowl games. They're not really, it doesn't do them any good to play. They're already solidified as far as like what they're gonna, where they're going in the NFL. Unless they fucking bomb combine and pro day and all that shit, then you're pretty much.
My thing is more of the risk of them getting hurt.
Yeah, well, that's why they sit out.
I think the big turning point was that 2016 season, because 2015, it was like the first couple of years of that opt-out stuff. But then 2016, I remember that famous Rose Bowl with Christian McCaffrey and the Orange Bowl with Dalvin Cook, and it was like the same day. And like there were two guys that were first-round talent. I mean, Dalvin didn't go in the first round, but first-round talent type of guys, and they were just like, no, I'm playing in the bowl game.
Yeah,
like I've been to this university for 3 to 4 years.
This is what we're playing for.
Like I'm playing, like it's New Year's Day, it's the Rose Bowl, it's the Orange Bowl. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, which I mean, most guys they want to play regardless. Like they want to be out there and fucking play. And
it's when the handlers get involved, the agents, people putting them in their ear, like, hey, you could get hurt. It's like you could, and that's always the risk. But you could get hurt training. Like if you opt out and go train,
pull a muscle or fucking do some dumb. Yeah, I mean it's. Which, I mean, again, I get the argument, but it is kind of like, you're kind of just, pulling hair or splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah, so. But for your point, I do agree. 2 years, boom.
And that's not for everybody. Not everybody can come out.
Like, people, and, I mean, I feel like it should be, you could opt, like the NBA does. You could opt, to go into the draft, but if you don't make it, like, people come back. They don't.
You have a grace period in football. It started the last couple of years. Yeah. There's like a 30-day kind of window you can go get scouted and then come back.
Yeah, plus, like I mean, too, also like if they do that, I feel like you would see in the beginning a lot of guys jump like from their sophomore year and be like, "Bet I'm going into the NFL," and then you're gonna start seeing people not ready, and then that first year it's gonna be kind of the first couple of years. You'll see an influx of people just, all right, bet, let me go. Underclassmen, all right, bet, I'm ready. They get to the league.
It also helped.
Not ready, and then you'll kind of start it, things even out a little bit more.
I think it also helps the NFL. Like, the college football is a farm system for the NFL.
Yeah.
Helps the NFL, like, evaluate these guys. You get 3 years to kind of see on tape what these kids are made of. Not every kid needs that, but
and even then, too, because, like, drafting is in the NFL, I feel like more specifically, is, like, really hit or miss. Because you got 7 rounds, and, like, 30-40% of the first round is not gonna. They're gonna be a bust. They're not gonna. They're not gonna do shit in the NFL.
30-40% of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that high, but
pretty damn close.
Quarterback is where you get it like that maybe that percentage. But like if you're drafting the first round, you're expecting to get a starter, and probably your first 3 rounds. If you would expect those guys to be a starter for at least a couple of years.
Starter like right now too.
Yeah. But I mean, people come in day
yeah.
one. Like, there's no sitting anymore.
Yeah. You ain't red shirt in an NFL team.
No.
You're getting straight to business.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's not like the NBA in that where if you're not top 5, I mean, even if you are top 5, who knows?
Yeah.
The NBA scouting system is wild, how many busts there are in the NBA.
Well, it's because it's just so different. Like,
all right, so here's the top 10 from the 2011 draft. Cam Newton.
Not a bust.
Von Miller.
Not a bust.
Marcel Darius.
Not a bust. Was it Jake Locker?
No. AJ Green is 4.
Not a bust.
Patrick Peterson.
Not
Julio
a bust.
Jones.
Not a bust.
Alden
Smith. Not a bust.
I mean, he
not
did
a
it
bust,
to himself.
Though. Yeah.
Jake Locker.
Bust.
Tyron Smith.
Not
Blaine
a bust.
Gabbert.
Bust. So that's 80% of the top 10.
Two.
Right,
So you stretch that out over the first round.
But that was a 2011 draft. So.
It's the all-time best.
Yeah, that one's pretty fucking stacked. Let's see.
J.J. Watt went like 15th or something, I think.
He went 11th.
Yeah.
He was next. He was right outside. So this one a little bit more is 2012 Andrew Luck,
Not a bust.
Robert Griffin III.
Nah.
Yeah,
Call it a bust. Call it a bust.
Debatable.
Trent Richardson.
Not a bust. Oh yeah, it is a bust for sure.
Matt Cleo. This he went to Minnesota.
O lineman.
82 games.
That's not a bust.
No.
That's like 5 years.
Justin Blackman, bust.
Bust.
Morris Claiborne, bust. Mark Barron, bust. Ryan Tannehill, not a bust.
Yeah, still in the league.
Luke Kuechly, not a bust. Stephon Gilmore,
That
not a
guy.
bust.
Not a bust.
So this one was a little bit
That's
more.
like 60%.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 50%. And that, I mean, I'm just going off the top 10 too. I'm not going down. Let's see.
There's also not the level of expectation that there is
Yeah.
in the NBA.
Let's see. I'll do this last one. 2013. Eric Fisher,
Not a bust.
Luke Jokel. He played 50 games, but
That's kind of a
Don't
bust.
even know.
But
who
that's
that
4
is.
years.
Deion Jordan,
Not a bust.
Lane Johnson,
Not a bust.
What's his name? Ezekiel Anza. He went to Detroit. I mean, he's not
It's a
really
hard place to go.
Bartevius Mingo.
Not.
Bust.
Yeah, for sure bust.
Jonathan Cooper.
Bust.
Tavon Austin.
No, he's still in the
Bust.
league. He was still in the league last year. You can't call him a bust if you played
But
10 years.
based
Tavon's
off the
that guy.
expectation that he had, though.
But
like,
that's not. You can't. If you play 10
Expectation
years.
that he had. He
had the greatest
fucking-
highlight tape of all time.
He's
sure,
a tiny
but-
motherfucker and still in the league.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's literally smaller than me.
Debatable. That one's debatable.
That's not debatable. He's in the league.
D. Milner. Bust.
Yeah.
Chance Warmack.
We will not have any tape on Austin Slander on this podcast.
Chance Warmack bust?
Yeah.
He
All
did
right, so
his
I
West
mean-
Virginia days.
All right. Well, I mean.
Great. He was a college
Yeah,
great.
but, I mean, it still is like.
I don't think it's the crapshoot that it is in some other sports.
But for
The
I mean,
NFL,
when, like,
for
they
to your
get
point,
it right
Yeah.
more than any
NBA
other
is,
sport.
Well,
after
he
you
was
get out
going
of the
off of-
lottery, it's nothing. And even in the lottery, you're kind of like crossing your
Yeah.
If you're
fingers.
in the top 5, like we've seen in recent memory, guys go number 1 overall and they're out of the league in 2 years.
Yep. Well, that's the
So.
world of fucking
Yeah,
sports.
I mean-
That's the trying to be a GM in any sport is fucking difficult.
Just because I wanted to do this for some reason today. Sports talk. Let's get into it.
That's a little late. But
30 minutes into it. UFC. How about that?
all right, let's get into some UFC
What
talk.
was the recent card? What was the number? 272. What was the?
What?
I was like 270, 280.
Yeah, 280.
Oh, the recent
85,
card. I'll get into the
283.
card. I'll get into that card
What
in a
was
minute. 282. I'll get into that card in a minute though.
Okay.
first on the docket, Francis Ngannou, the UFC lets go of their heavyweight champion.
It was 283, by the way.
He surrendered the belt. Well, they kind of took it off.
Yeah, he didn't surrender shit. I'm
no,
glad.
They basically, were like, we're releasing you. That's our belt now. It's on.
Yeah, they were stuck in limbo. You just can't sit around for 2 years and be like.
Especially after what Yuri Prochazka did, he got hurt and immediately vacated the belt. He said, "I'm not going to hold up the division. When I come back, though, I'm coming back for my belt." But I feel like that should he was, and I just saw something today that they offered him $8 million.
Yeah, they offered to make him
Francis Ngannou.
They offered to make him the highest paid heavyweight ever.
And he turned that shit down.
What he came back with, though, I don't know if you watched his interview with Ariel. He basically
he did one with him? That's kind of cool.
He basically was saying, like, they did offer money, but it wasn't the money that I was asking for. I was fine with the contract the way it was. It was just I was asking for I think he asked for, like, health benefits, not just for him, but for, like, other fighters and a bunch of other shit. He was just trying to say, like, the UFC is very stubborn and wasn't gonna budge on any of these things. Like they weren't.
Yeah, they
weren't falling into his demands, and basically, he was even like, "All right, well, if this is what it's gonna be," and I guess Dana or Hunter, I'm not sure who made the final call on that, but they were like, "Well, it's a pleasure working with you."
And
goodbye.
Which, not that I disagree with him trying to get all that, but I feel like you have to establish yourself a little bit more. And, fight a little bit more, defend your title once or twice.
Strike while the iron's hot, though.
Yeah.
You're the champ.
It's true,
yeah, but he had one title defense.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, you're like the mindset of like, how many times are you going to get that opportunity to kind of walk in the room and dictate where?
But if he fights John Jones and beats him, then it's like you have all the fucking.
But I'm saying that's a big if.
Yeah, he could lose the belt.
He didn't have to have that if to walk in and ask for it.
No, but if he would have done that, asked for it, I feel like it would have been a little bit, it would have helped him out a little bit more. And maybe it would have changed. And
Dana's never going to change.
No. But it was also this going back to John Jones and his contract situation. John Jones had this, basically, he even came out and said, I was in the same situation as Francis. I sat out for 3 years. I haven't fought in 3 years.
But he also wasn't a champion at that point.
Because he vacated.
Exactly. That's all.
And he had a fight scheduled within that 3 years.
But that's all
he
I'm saying.
He failed a drug test. Yeah. And got suspended for a year.
That is true. Wow.
But that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, though, that if you are going to hold up a division, just vacate the belt. Like, don't hold it up. Yeah. If you're going to, and then if you want to go contract negotiation and do what you do, but like the fact that you're holding up a whole division, and especially like, in most combat sports, heavyweight division is what's really going to bring in, a lot of fucking money if you get the right guys. And a Francis Ngannou, a John Jones.
It has the biggest boom factor.
Exactly.
You can make the most if you're a heavyweight.
They're the his title, the baddest man in the world.
Exactly.
He's
so
the baddest man in the world. So,
but that's why like I think that if he would have fought John Jones and say he beats him, maybe he doesn't get the demands that he is asking for, but I do feel like it gives him a little bit more leverage, because then it's like, all right, so
for sure, he has
like, who else leverage. Are you going to put in? I just beat Stipe, or right now is the greatest heavyweight of all time. Right. I would have just beat John Jones. I beat Cyril Gane. So like, what are you going to fucking tell me now?
Basically, I guess Francis's deal that was in place anyways wasn't even like a lucrative or a long contract. It was a 3-fight deal. He wanted to fight Stipe again, and he wanted to fight John Jones twice, just in case he lost one of them.
I mean, but to name your opponents before you sign a contract is pretty crazy.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, the Stipe was already
Stipe one makes sense.
It was already, and John Jones made sense. Like,
but if you win, you're just signing up for that rematch.
Yep.
Basically, it's money at that.
You're not going to survive hell twice, buddy.
It's money at that point, though. He's thinking of pay-per-view buys and all that.
Here's what I think happened. Going off of that. I think Francis Ngannou saw the money that's being made from these kind of outside properties in fighting. Mm-hmm. Your Logan Pauls, your Jake Pauls, your people like that.
Well, it's boxing.
Yeah,
boxing is the only.
But it's independent promotions as well as like Conor jumped out and did the Floyd fight and made the most money he ever made in his life. I think he saw that bag and was like, I want to do that. Like, I want to make as much money as I can for a relatively, I mean, it literally didn't matter that Conor McGregor lost. No, it did not matter.
No, it didn't.
And I think that he said, I want to do this. Obviously, I'm the UFC heavyweight champ. Like, you make these things happen. I'll stay around and I'll fight. I'll do those 3 fights, and then I'll go do my thing. And they weren't even going to budge on that, so it was just
the difference is, though, with the Conor thing is that he is much more of a showman and can sell a pay-per-view much more than...
I'm not saying he's going to make Conor money, but if he makes half of Conor money, it's more than he's made in his UFC career combined.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he's calling out Tyson. He's calling out Tyson Fury. I don't like...
Tyson Fury, that's a bad motherfucker.
Like,
he said, let's fight with 4-ounce gloves in a cage.
I think he's going to fight his brother.
I
think he's going to fight Tommy.
Oh,
Jake Paul's supposed to fight Tommy, but that's
said for and that's why I started getting like
it's just wrestling.
It's fucking cute, but like really, you get like bad business move by Tommy Fury if he's really thinking he wants to go in there with Francis Ngannou. I don't think that was ever even on the table.
I think that like somebody like that is who Francis is going to fight.
No, he was trying to fight.
No, he wants to fight.
Fury.
No, I know that, but I'm like, I think Tommy is the one that's going to happen quicker because that's the one that they're going to like.
Oh, I don't know, because they've been going back and forth, and they've been tweeting at each other and shit. And I mean, the way that it seems like Francis Ngannou views himself, he views himself as like top tier. Like, I am in that upper echelon of skilled fighter, like a Tyson Fury that is a fucking giant and is the best heavyweight skilled wise.
Yeah, 6'9", 6. How tall is Francis? 6'4", 6'5"? Either way, big fucking dudes.
And I mean, I don't think that he's strong as shit, but I don't,
he would get worked.
Yeah. I don't think he's that technical.
Well,
I don't think he's got that type of a stand-up.
He's definitely not as technical as the greatest heavyweight boxer we have in the planet Earth. And that was my whole argument with I thought the whole Conor Floyd thing was dumb. Like,
it was dumb, but they
sold it. They sold it.
That's the difference.
I'm saying when people like in their minds when they were like they lied to themselves and they were like Conor has a chance. Like I remember Chappelle said it the best. He was like somewhere in Ireland. Or he's like somewhere in Vegas. Floyd Mayweather is taping up 14-ounce gloves like he's done every single day of his life since he was 14 years old, and he is hitting a speed bag and going through his workout and getting his cardio up. And somewhere in Ireland, Conor McGregor is learning how to box.
Yeah,
and that's where we're at.
Yep. And people who thought
and he got knocked out. Like people forget he got knocked out by a guy who hadn't had a knockout since Canelo. Like Floyd was over the hill.
Wasn't a knockout.
Listen,
you saw his head bobble.
People who think that, you know what that's called? Delusion.
People had
delusion.
And I understand Conor's easy to root for. People like him.
And again, like
he made it interesting.
The hype train that was Conor McGregor at that time.
They sold that fight for a year.
And the way that, they are both of them showmen and can talk shit and are very polarizing. Like, of course, the hype is gonna be great. But anyone who knows anything about any type of fighting, even if it's just fucking two people fucking fighting on the fucking street, that wasn't gonna be a close fight. Yeah. Like it, again, to your point, Mayweather was just gonna make it interesting,
and that's what he's done his last 5 fights.
Yeah. That's what he's
Bobs
done.
and weaves a little bit.
Since Canelo. He beat Canelo. Like, the argument was over, like, who the greatest of all time was. And he was just like, I'm going to coast now. Like, I'll take Manny when I'm ready. I'll take, in all these money fights.
Which I still fucking don't,
I mean, he beat the shit out of Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was washed.
Yeah. That was a bitch move in my eyes. But,
Waiting anyways, 2 years?
Yeah.
Get off this boxing real quick. Back to...
Sorry.
The heavyweight division now leaves this wide open, vacant belt.
Speaking of the man,
John Jones and Ciryl Gane,
the new heavyweight champ.
He's gonna beat the shit out of Ciryl.
Unfortunate, because I don't know if he's gonna beat the shit out of him, but I do think he's gonna lose. And I like Ciryl Gane. Like, I want him to be a UFC champion.
Well,
but
the thing is,
I just hate that it has to
fight John Jones.
Yeah, because he's not. I mean, and I'm not gonna say that it's good. Like, I want to see what the odds are, like the
Vegas odds,
but like. I don't really see it going too well for Ciryl Gane.
Well, my thing is when Ciryl straight up comes out, and I like saying Ciryl basically came out and said, like, his fighting style, he based everything he does off of John Jones. And he was like, that's who I watched.
Yeah, that's
so.
It's
imagine
obvious.
When you got to go shadow box the fucking shadow, it's fucking
that's scary. You're like, oh no, this isn't gonna be fun.
And now John Jones is fucking 250.
What did Mike tell Kobe? He goes, you can wear the shoes, but you'll never
you never fill them or some shit like that. Yeah. And pretty
The
for
one
sure.
time
I
he
love
wore
Cyril
Jordans, and
Gahn.
he
I
never wore
think Cyril
Jordans
Gahn
again.
is.
Kobe never wore Jordans again after.
I think Cyril Gahn is
saying
the
that.
future of how we're gonna start seeing heavyweights. A little bit more athletic.
Yeah.
We might see, one with a little bit more knockout power than Cyril Gahn, but I feel like that is what the future of the heavyweight division is. But he just happens to be in the time where John Jones is still a capable fighter. So, sucks to suck.
It says so much about who John Jones was that we have not seen him for years, and we still have the
I mean, because even he said, I think he said, which is a little arrogant, but I like it.
That the God thing.
He was like, there's just certain times God lets you know that you're going to be an undefeated fighter or something like that.
He pretty much said God does not want me to lose. Like it is not
It's not in
divine
God's
intervention that I
that I
will
lose.
never lose a fight.
I could see John Jones just being a guy that hangs on too long though, and it finally happens.
See, I might have thought that
Just because he's gonna chase the money forever.
I might have thought that a few years
He's
ago,
apparently got 8
but
fights, though.
the fact that he
8 fights.
he sat out
Could
for 3
happen.
years kind of
But I don't really
made me
see.
think otherwise.
He's just so technical. When I think of and I'll have Eric read off the rankings in a second. When I think about John Jones fighting anybody in this top 10 heavyweight division, I can't see a threat to him like that. I mean, you got Stipe,
He might have lost a step.
He might have. How old is he now?
32, 33.
John Jones?
Is he that young still?
No. He's got to be like 35.
34 max.
38.
35.
When was his birthday?
July 19th,
So it'd be 36.
1987.
Mm.
So Cyril Gahn is the number 1 ranked. Stipe Miocic.
That's happening before July though, right?
It's happening in March.
Yeah, there's
Yeah, March 4th.
So how long has he been in camp? Like,
Bro, he's been training. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if
He's
you
been
follow him
training
on
for a long
social
time.
media, like, he's been in the
no,
gym.
I know,
He's
but
been
like
training.
in camp for like
He's been in camp. He thought he would get a fight November, December.
versus
So
Zero Gone.
Versus Stipe originally.
Well, those are two different fighters.
Correct.
Yeah.
But he thought it was going to be Stipe first. Then he thought Francis. Now he's in a realistic camp.
Which one's easier to prepare for?
Stipe.
Because Stipe has definitely lost.
I'm in a Francis and Zero Gone. Because Zero Gone is copying him. It's hard to prepare for yourself.
I think Francis is the easier fight.
But Cyril Gahn is copying him, but doesn't have any of his wrestling abilities, like at all.
His jiu-jitsu
His
stuff.
grappling is nothing compared to John Jones. John Jones could literally go in there and have his way.
Yeah, you forget that he has like all these like
Yeah.
No,
submission.
people want to
finishes.
think of like just
Bro, that
striking.
fucking, who was it? Lyoto Machida, where he fucking had him standing up
fucking
and
hangs
when
him.
he just dropped his
Hangs
lifeless
him.
That shit was
The
the
ref
coldest
taps him,
shit I've ever
fucking
seen. He literally just dropped him and he drops like
Straight face to
lifeless.
the
I'm
canvas.
like, oh my God.
Because he was
Like,
literally being hung.
it's like that's
But
what
you think of like the elbow or the swinging leg kick. You think of these things that John Jones.
Yeah, his
did.
signature fucking like his nickname, Bones Jones. But like,
when he hit you with one of these,
those
but-
shit slice.
but in reality, like it's his grappling that made him that guy. Like he could do whatever he wants. No one.
That's why he's so special.
And like
I mean,
he
and you
only
see-
would go to the ground if he wanted to go to
Yeah,
the
and
ground.
I mean, you see it in the people that he beat Cormier twice, and he's world class.
the best wrestler.
Yeah,
One of the
A
best wrestlers.
national champion wrestler, like one of the like in the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
of college amateur wrestlers.
yeah. I mean, if John Jones isn't around, he is the greatest light heavyweight of all time.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
too bad John
and I mean
Jones
the
is
same
the-
thing with Stipe. If Stipe's not around, he's probably the greatest heavyweight of all time. Like this is
DC just got
yeah,
the worst.
it's a different conversation, a different landscape that is what reality would be if those two weren't around. He just happened to, that's not how life works. You deal with what's in front of you, and unfortunately, he was able to beat Stipe, but he lost that, and then he couldn't. Yeah,
He's held
John
both
Jones.
belts, but
Yeah, John Jones. The John Jones one was, especially that
Which
second
one?
fight.
Yeah, yeah.
That second one was like, oh my god.
I mean, when he pretty much just on the mic right there, you can't call it a rivalry if I lost twice.
he also didn't know where he was.
Yeah.
Factual.
Oh man, I felt so bad. I felt so bad when they went in and he was
Rogan.
crying, and I'm like, oh man, that's rough. That's rough. But yeah, I mean, so Cyril Gahn, Stipe, Sergey Pavlovich, which he's actually a big, strong fuck, and his last fight was pretty fucking.
That was when he beat
Tai
He beat-
Tuivasa.
Yeah, okay.
And he fucking
He did. He beat him quick work.
Yeah,
Made quick
it
work
wasn't
of him.
even Curtis Blades, which I mean, and then but that's the thing. You start getting
Gotta love Curtis, but
you start getting into guys that have been
It's the depth is not there like it is in the other weight classes.
No, you start getting to guys that have been, kind of cycling through the top 10, the same 5 or 6 guys that
Which
have been.
is why John one, John's the greatest ever, arguably, and that second, the roster is so thin. That's why he gets pushed to the front.
Yeah.
Like, he gets to go call his fight because, well, I've dominated the division under you guys
forever.
And now...
And you guys are nothing.
Yeah, and I've beaten the guys that you lost to, so...
Pretty much.
He should have gone to middleweight.
No.
Gone down. Oh, my God. Would that be the most loaded division ever?
Fuck, because,
Well,
I mean,
and
if
right
he goes
now-
down, because, I mean, it is. Right now, it's Pereira, the champ, Izzy, Robert Whitaker, Jared Cannonier, Marvin Vettori, Derek Brunson, which I don't really...
Whatever, yeah.
Pablo Costa, which I'm not really a big fan of him, too. Sean Strickland. But, I mean, there's names, and there's guys that can actually fight. Like,
and then you just throw a John Jones in there.
boom.
That'd be ridiculous. John Jones would kill everybody. That wouldn't even be fair.
Pereira would just be like...
That wouldn't even be
here's
fair.
the
Literally,
belt.
he would be like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, sir."
Which,
Like-
I mean, did you see? Pereira, he was in Glover Teixeira's
Yeah.
corner. He was over there eyeing the light heavyweight belt.
Which he might go up, but he did say
He's running from Izzy.
no. He did say he did say
Okay.
he only wants 2 fights. His next, like, for the title, he's saying he's only taking 2 fights, either Izzy or Robert Whitaker.
Yeah, he's
He's
fighting
like, I'm
Izzy
not
again.
trying to fight anyone else. No one else deserves this
He's
belt.
fighting Izzy again.
He should fight Robert Whitaker.
He also doesn't want to fight a wrestler and get that fucking thing snatched from him right
He
away.
would beat the shit out of Robert Whitaker.
I don't know. Their styles match up pretty well.
Yeah.
I think he would put the paws on him.
I don't know.
I mean, he's got that fucking fist.
Yeah.
It only takes one.
The fucking great equalizer.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, if
But-
Izzy had a ground game,
but-
that fight's over. So
But, I mean,
Robert
we-
Whitaker has a
And,
better
and we
ground
say
game
that
than
now,
Izzy.
but I mean, again,
2 seconds left in the first round. That
yeah,
fight is over. So
he's dropped.
it's
But
it's about it's all.
you know,
it's
what
all
ifs?
who knows?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
ifs? But I mean, and I'm also a lot higher on Alex Pereira than you guys are.
Yeah, he fucking loves. him
I don't
over here.
love him, but I mean, the
Porton-
dude's a
Porton-
fucking.
Porton.
He's
It's
a,
impressive what he's done. I
Yeah.
don't think he is the face of the league.
I don't think he's
I
the
don't
face.
think
Of
it-
I don't think.
But
he's
I
the
think
face
when you're
either.
a champ, you should be thought of as a potential face of the league. And I think that shit's going to get taken with a fucking quickness.
Yeah, I think he.
Do you
he
see him
has
doing
one fight.
5 title defenses? Because I don't.
Not at all. I think he. Well, first off, I thought it was an early
mean, it
stoppage, anyways. First off,
Yeah, you let the champ go out on his back.
you should
Look at Glover.
exactly. Even
Okay,
his
but he
corner,
was not-
his
like,
corner
he-
said,
it didn't
"I
even-
wanted to call the fight in 3, but everyone
didn't-
would have been mad at me, so I let him go out."
Yeah, but I mean, it also didn't really seem like he was being phased a lot. Like he was getting pieced the fuck up, and he was getting like his face was all fucked
I
up.
mean,
but
he was
kinda-
doing like this shit on the ground. Like
There was points where it's like, you know, he just kind of stumbled and then kind of just came back to him like, all right, let's go again. Like
Okay,
it's just
so-
like
yeah,
Izzy
they just didn't give Izzy that
did
shot.
the same. Izzy didn't even get a chance to stumble and figure it out. They were like, "No, that's it."
well,
He's the fucking champ for how long, and you're gonna call it like that?
yeah, I mean,
Still mad about it. Early stoppage, but it's all
whatever.
good.
the ref, I mean, got fucking criticized by Dana, and that never fucking happened.
but even his corner was saying that it wasn't like the stoppage wasn't early. Izzy's corner was saying it that the stoppage was correct.
Izzy, yeah, because they're gonna be politically correct about it. But Izzy was
'Cause
like,
Izzy's
I mean,
the face.
Izzy was like, all right, I mean, it is what it is. He got me this time. Our story's not done. I'll see you
Third
again.
time.
Yeah, Izzy doesn't make excuses.
No,
You
he
can
doesn't.
say whatever
yeah.
he wants.
No,
about
he's
it.
a fucking class act.
Yeah.
Like he'll own his
He's
shit.
a fighter. He has been a fighter since he was fucking like what 10 years old.
And I think what probably eats him the most, I think Izzy is all around better than him.
yes,
I think he does laps around Alex.
he's a better.
He just
complete
happens
fighter.
to be. That's right now. That's his
3-0.
kryptonite.
Yeah.
But
3-0. You could think anything that you want, but the record speaks for itself.
yeah, well, this next fight, we'll see.
I mean,
If
I
it's
think
4-0 though, I guess I'll have to shut the fuck up. But
Even if it's 3-1 though, like it's people are still gonna be like,
when Izzy knocks him the fuck out, people are
he's
gonna be
not
like,
gonna knock him out.
Izzy's gonna knock him out.
no.
He
Yeah.
almost
He
had him.
almost did, and he didn't. So
Yeah,
there you
and
go.
now he's gonna be like, he'll remember that. Be like, all right.
You don't
I'm
think
gonna
he
do this.
Izzy
remembered?
has to put on weight.
Yeah, but you don't think he remembered when Alex Pereira fucking knocked his lights out? And I understand that
The
was a
second
kick.
fight.
It was a kickboxing fight, but he fucking put him out like in another dimension.
But it was also
10 years ago.
that, and it's also, it wasn't like he was getting pieced up the whole fight.
no, he wasn't.
Which is in the fight game. Anything could happen in any second, you know. But if it's different if someone is just beating your ass and then beats you.
It's more
It hasn't-
frustrating.
it hasn't
that
been-
he has lost. The
Yeah,
weight.
Yeah,
the way
I was
the
just
way
about to
that
say
he's
that.
losing is not like he's getting his ass whooped. He thought he won the first one, judge's decision. All right, that sucks. The second one, he was arguably winning
He
the
was
fight.
winning. No, I watched the
Gets
fight.
knocked
He was
out.
winning, and it was
so
like,
it's
oh,
like, what
God.
the fuck? He was like, damn it, I knew
And
I
the
could have
third
beat
one,
him.
he beat the fuck. He
He
washed. him.
basically won,
Yeah,
and then
and then with 10 seconds left,
basically
God
like Kamaru
came
Usman,
down.
same instance.
Said, no, not today.
The ref stops it early, doesn't get knocked out. So that one I know hurts him. This third one hurt him the most because it's not like he got knocked out. He still thought he could do it. He still thought he could fight, and he knew.
I mean, the ref stands in between him, and the first thing he does is kind of like do like one of these. Like he's clearly conscious.
Yeah, instantly like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I honestly thought maybe, and I'm not gonna say the ref is like going for those money fights, but it just adds to the story.
Oh yeah, because there's going to be a second one. Izzy most likely will win.
Yeah, and then
there's a third one. The Vegas odds, I think, would have Izzy as the favorite.
Yeah,
going into
I guess we'll see.
But,
I'm not saying he will win. I'm saying how Vegas would view it.
Yeah, but I mean.
But then before we get into other divisions, do you guys think Conor McGregor comes back?
I hope not. I fucking hope not. I'm over Conor McGregor.
He's annoying.
Fuck you guys. I like him.
He's annoying as shit, bro. If you're gonna come back, then fucking come back. Like, stop with the I'm gonna do it and then not and then fucking get.
I mean,
he's also going through domestic violence.
He's only been medically cleared since this year, December. I think December, like halfway through December.
Even like
he's finally medically
his last
cleared.
few fights were like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing? You could tell that he's just not in it anymore. But and understand when you have that type of money, like. You don't need, like, you have to have a certain type of mentality.
I punch people's faces in and then I bounce. That's what I do.
You have to have, like, a certain type of mentality to be a fighter and to be a successful fighter. You can't just go in there like, all right, well,
he had a great run.
Oh, yeah.
Probably one of the greatest. Probably one of the greatest.
No, not UFC. One of the greatest run in UFC. Making UFC what it is.
Better than John?
No.
Conor is the reason the UFC is where the UFC is.
That's fine, but we're not talking about what the UFC.
I'm not talking about legacy and straight fights.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the run.
Fights. That's different. John Jones is the greatest MMA fighter ever.
I was just about to say that. Anderson Silva had a fucking phenomenal run.
Correct. Yeah. I have it in that order.
And then Conor's like top 10 probably.
For sure. Yeah. But his impact is probably the greatest.
His impact is number one.
There's a difference between a run and an impact.
Yes.
His impact is fucking.
But now runs, I go John Jones, GSP, Anderson Silva. I personally don't even like him, but the dude that's 29-0, throw him into the top 5.
Your hatred towards this man is so...
Khabib ain't that good to me.
Habib.
Oh, my God. You're fucking wild.
You're caping for Conor, who Habib beat the shit out of.
I'm not saying he didn't win the fight. I'm just saying
he's not that good
to me. His fights bored the fuck out of me.
That one was not boring. That one was not boring.
There's not one fight that Habib has ever been in.
Up.
He striked with him for an entire round and dropped it.
No, it's not.
Oh my gosh.
I don't give a fuck what you guys are wanting to say.
You're just mad because his boy beat your boy. Islam beat Charles, and now you're
that was a fluke.
Forever. That was not a fluke.
You see Charles say that the other day?
He didn't say it was a fluke. He just said he was like,
I
got me.
I had 2 bad rounds or whatever.
No, he was like,
I had a bad 10 minutes.
Yeah, he was like, I had a bad 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is fucking.
He even said though, he was like, I lost. I got to win another fight, and then I'll get another chance. Which
at least he admitted he had a bad 10 minutes.
Yeah, anybody can. It's the fight game.
He's not gonna fucking beat Islam.
You don't know.
No way in fucking hell. Bro, okay, but listen. He had those close fights with Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, fucking even Michael Chandler. It was kind of he hit him.
Good fights.
And we don't we think they're good fighters, but in the grand scheme of things, we don't think they're not really all-time greats. We don't think of them as like anything that's like world beating.
They've never been champs. They've been interim champs, but they've never been.
And then
champs.
We see what
they've never defended.
When you put Charles Oliveira in the ring with somebody who is of that fucking cloth, we saw what happened. The thing is, Charles Oliveira just had one thing over these other guys, that he could take a hit, but go to the ground and nobody can. None of those other
even
guys
those wrestlers
can match
are out of even Justin.
He went to the ground. He went to what his fallback is, to what his safety net is, and Islam fucking made light work of him. That's why I don't get delusion. That's not delusion.
It's not. He had a good.
This
Islam
is what
had a better
looks
game
like,
plan.
people. This is what delusion looks like.
He had a better game plan. I'm just saying. If it happens again, I can't say shit. But until that happens, I can say all the shit I want.
That's fair. There's a chance where it's like
fair enough.
We look back on it like let's say
say they fight again
and beats the shit out of him.
Correct. And it's a whole different fucking fight.
Then it's like Islam just had his best day against his worst day kind of thing.
But that is the fight game. You never know until somebody
from that.
Until somebody shows you.
Let's be honest. Let's have an honest moment. how realistic do we really? And I'm not gonna ask you because I already know what you're gonna say. Voice of reason over here.
I think there's like a 10% chance that that's what happened. Like it was literally best versus worst case scenario. Best case scenario versus worst case.
That's a 90% chance that he is just better than Charles Oliveira,
which is possible.
No,
but
I'm not saying
90%
90% that he's better. Maybe like 50% that he's 60% that he's just the better fighter. And then there's gray area in between.
No, fair enough.
Because I mean, just in
majority of it.
For instance, just in their, you wanted to say runs, just in their runs alone. When you look at the caliber of fights, right? Mm-hmm. The amount of fights. Mm-hmm. Charles has done a lot more in his UFC career than Islam has.
Okay,
when they met,
Islam's meteoric rise was not because of the fighters; it was because of how dominant he was.
Yes,
no, it was because who was coaching him.
No,
did you know that damn well?
Did you not watch?
Your
his
boy
fights?
has fought dominantly longer than Islam has.
Who, Dariush?
Yeah, and he's not getting any of the.
It's not been dominant because
not as dominant.
No,
not
because
nearly as dominant.
The two of those fights were comeback fights that he was fucking wobbling.
He got rocked,
and he got his shit back together.
That gray-haired bastard,
bro. So it's not that wasn't dominant. I like him as a fighter, but do I think he would beat Islam in a fight? I don't think so. I think he would get fucking worked.
Well. Islam
but
ran
even
from the
now,
smoke.
because Islam is gonna fight
Islam
Volk,
dodged
and
that smoke.
I think Volk is better than anyone than Charles Oliveira has fought.
That's probably true.
And
I don't think Volkanovski is better than all of them. Dustin's
the closest.
But I think he works Dustin. I think he pieces him up. Yes, and that just might be my opinion on him. But I think
he might finish.
I think Volkanovski is a fucking he's legit. I think he's gonna go down as an all-time great. I don't see Dustin going down as an all-time great.
Dustin's like a legacy guy though. Like Dustin's like you're gonna be like, hey,
yeah,
remember
he's
him?
a fan favorite.
Yeah.
He's a fucking popular guy. But
I feel like it's been a good indicator of like who gets
the next shot.
Yeah,
because if you can actually beat him, then you might be that guy.
Yeah,
but he's up there.
Fair enough.
He's third place.
Fair enough. But again, I think if you put Volkanovski and Dustin Poirier in a fight, I think Volkanovski wins pretty handily.
Maybe.
I don't know.
He is the number one pound for pound.
He is
That's crazy that they gave that to him already.
Who?
Volkanovski.
I don't think it's that.
No, it's not that crazy.
I mean, but now if he beats Islam,
then that's it.
It's I don't think there's any question. But if Islam beats him, then I mean he's gonna get that
Islam's
pound for
gonna
pound.
Get number one again.
So I mean, and then where does he go to next?
I think Izzy's still the best fighter in the UFC.
No love for Kamaru
until
Usman.
John Jones fights.
Kamaru Usman's great.
Until John Jones fights.
yeah.
Izzy is the greatest. Is the best fighter right now.
Yeah.
As soon as John Jones gets in the cage, though.
March 3rd, when he walks through that arena.
He's got to win, though. It's still I still think he will, but I'm just saying.
This is the pound for pound rankings right now. So Alexander Volkanovski 1, Makhachev 2, Leon Edwards 3, Kamaru Usman 4, Izzy 5.
Leon Edwards is 3.
Yeah,
just because
of the knockout.
Yeah, literally. Which I do think you can flip Izzy and Kamaru Usman. I think Izzy should at least be 4 and Kamaru Usman 5.
Izzy should at least be 3.
Izzy should be fucking 1.
Yeah, to be real.
With the loss, he should be 1.
Alex Pereira 6.
All right,
Charles
he still
Oliveira
should be better than fucking Islam.
Charles Oliveira
pound
7. Aljamain Sterling 8. Brandon Moreno 9. Yuri Prochazka 10.
By the way, that Brandon Moreno kid.
He's a fucking beast.
He's a savage.
Yeah,
he throws
he made what's that? Davidson. He's going up to bantamweight now.
But he should too, because I mean, you see his weight cut pictures.
Yeah,
he looks like a fucking skeleton.
I mean,
he looks like a Connor 45.
I was literally just about to say that. He looked like a fucking walking corpse. Yeah, I don't think it was that bad though. Connor looked like he had a fucking meth habit.
Yeah.
Oh, when he went and got the belt.
Yeah, that 145, that weigh-in, he looked like he had a drug problem.
Well.
All the water.
Foreshadowing.
No water was in his body.
You seen him now?
Fucking jacked up.
He looked in more recent pictures. He's looked more realistic.
Jacked up on them roids.
Yeah, because he went talking cartoon for a fucking year.
I mean, he probably couldn't work his legs, so he was just doing all upper body, that jail fucking house workout.
He looked like remember the Thing in the Fantastic Four movie when he puts the top hat and the jacket on? That's what he looks like.
Oh, shit.
He looks like
good
a
old
fucking
Conor McGregor.
idiot.
Fucking Conor McGregor. You can go suck one. You can tell him I said it, too.
No slander of Conor on his podcast.
What do we got next?
After UFC, here we go.
Let's be quick.
The NFL. Heartbreaking.
NFL.
Heartbreaking. All right, let's just start
I try to
with this.
tell you. I try to tell you from the jump.
Heartbreaking
The Bills
news
are
for
not
the
it.
Buffalo Bills.
I try to tell you. I try to give you a fair
Tragic.
warning. I try to tell you
No
the
one
Bills
cares
were
what you
not
say.
it. There's a cute little story, but Josh Allen, great talent.
Josh Allen is that guy. We need.
When are
we
we
need
going to
some
start
help,
having the
though.
conversation, though?
Go ahead. Let's have it right now. I'm ready for it.
He is that guy. Do we need a better coach?
When are we
The
going to...
talent is there.
When are we going to start having the conversation, the uncomfortable conversation about Josh Allen?
Talent is great. He's He's starting to show his ass a little bit.
He has 2 playoff wins.
Over
Mac Jones and Taylor, whatever.
Thomas, whatever the fuck
Who
his name
gives
is.
a
Guy
fuck?
from K-State.
Yeah.
Rookie from K-State.
And every time that he runs into a team with a comparable quarterback to him, he has come up short. Deshaun Watson, loss. Mahomes, twice, loss. Joe Burrow, loss.
Either way.
They beat the shit out of him.
It
But,
was 27-10.
I will say this,
Final
though.
score?
Look,
I don't think that's lucky.
in the playoffs, in last week's playoffs, out of the 8 teams that were remaining, 7 of those teams, offensive-minded coaches.
Yes.
One of those teams, defensive-minded
Yes.
coach.
Yes.
The only team was the Bills.
Yes.
Mhm.
Sean McDermott.
So you're
I mean, I
blaming
like
it on
my
the
boy,
coach.
but-
So you're blaming it on the coach. Is that what we're doing now?
Is it when
He
I
does,
mean,
he's not the one calling plays. Like, I
okay,
don't like that argument.
My
of,
OC,
like, Ken Dorsey,
he's a great guy.
quarterback coach is Joe Brady.
It's like fuck with them. Fuck with all of them.
Joe Brady, was the offensive coordinator for Joe
But,
Burrow in college.
I mean, granted, we had a
they
shit.
did some pretty good shit.
No, we had a shit offensive performance. Sunday was a terrible offensive performance. But then again, since he also was doing whatever the fuck they wanted on
because
defense.
once you start narrowing it down and you get down to the last 8, to the last 4, it is those
Almost
little
have
things.
to play perfect.
Yeah, and he just doesn't. They're a great regular season team because of Josh Allen is the ultimate X factor, and he can go off at any moment. But when you have a full week to prepare for one guy, like
In the NFL, they don't do that. I don't know how much that's common knowledge. They don't usually prepare for one team.
And I mentioned that on a podcast a few podcasts ago, is that they're usually in the regular season, they're usually game planning 2 or 3 weeks ahead.
Yeah,
in the playoffs, you have this is it, or there's no more game planning after this. So you put all your eggs in that basket. Yes. And when you only really have to truly prepare for one guy on offense, and then their defense is good, but
not one guy on offense.
Stephon Diggs, but I mean, if you cancel out Josh Allen,
forgetting the boy,
he's an all-pro receiver.
Yeah, but if you cancel out Josh Allen, then that makes receivers obsolete. Essentially, if you can't get them the ball, if you're causing havoc you can't really, then
they blitzed him a fuck ton, man. He got hurried like 24 times.
And so that makes receivers, kind of useless at that point. If you can't get them the ball, he could be all pro everything, but
Stephon.
I mean.
They give it to Beasley, Knox. Couldn't get it anywhere.
They need to add another layer to their offense.
A running back.
They do.
They need an elite running back.
We need to tighten up our O-line a little bit.
Or have a stable of very capable running
run.
backs that they can, rotate in and out. But,
it's Cook.
Baby Cook?
Yeah, James. What's the other one's name? Starts with an S.
Talking about
Stingley,
whatever his name is. Who's the running back? He's the starter.
Damn, Jacob, you should know these things.
Well, no, I was gonna go off McKenzie, but McKenzie's a slot receiver.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
It's just giving me a history of their running backs.
Devin Singletary.
Just go depth chart. Yeah.
Devin Singletary.
And then Hines was our third.
But he's just a return specialist more than anything.
Yeah.
Well, he was playing. I mean, he plays running back, but
he plays running back, but his role.
The why he's on the team.
Yeah, because he's a returner.
The why, yes.
Returner.
But I was gonna contrasting with how not up to par Josh Allen played to Josh Allen standards. He played fine, but not to Josh Allen standards.
He played like shit. He played like absolute
when
dog
you're comparing
shit.
him to himself, but I mean,
you're looking at the numbers at all, like you would think that it's the shittiest game ever for any quarterback, not just Josh Allen. He threw like 2 for. Oh, well, this was in like the first half. He was like 2 for 11 or some shit like that. He played like garbage, Absolute garbage.
And even when he's playing at his
Painful to
best, he
watch.
still finds a way to fucking lose the game. A la last year.
Last year, are you going to blame that on Josh Allen?
No.
I was going to contrast that with Sunday afternoon. The boy showed why he's the best quarterback in the fucking NFL.
The boy. I don't know.
I have been screaming from the
broke
rafters
his
all
legs.
season
I'm seeing
that he is the
broke.
best.
I'm
player.
seeing a lot of people starting to hop on that Joe Burrow wagon and say that
he owns their franchise.
Yeah, that he is
3-0 all time.
That he is Well, people are starting to put him as if he beats Patrick Mahomes, then they think that he's number one quarterback in the league.
I hope he does.
The conversation becomes a thing. I know with my eyes that Patrick Mahomes is better because I just know I think what I'm looking at and
Yeah.
the arm talent and is just unreal. The way he thinks of the game is stupid. And he has no receivers around him.
Yeah, and that's kind of what my thought process is on that. Like,
trade receivers
head to head.
See who's playing in that game.
Head to head, it is Joe Burrow's got his number, but
that's a team oriented.
Yeah, you kind of know who the fuck is better and who's not.
Yeah,
in that conversation. But I'm not trying to shit on Joe Burrow. Like he definitely
Joe Burrow's awesome.
He is fucking
Joe Shiesty.
Fucking had a hell of a game.
Yeah, he is the fucking shit. He does know how to.
He has silenced every doubter coming out of college.
And I was one of them. I'll raise my hand. I was a doubter. I was not too high on him coming out of college. I was more of a Trevor Lawrence guy, which he's
still looks great.
Yeah, he's starting to pan out, and he's it looks like he's gonna have a great NFL.
He's at least going to be good.
Yeah,
he's at least going to be fine.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
So, but
second year gets to the playoffs
with the Jags.
Yeah,
and wins a playoff game.
I definitely
has a comeback
was
fucking story. Yeah,
a Joe Burrow naysayer when he was coming into the league, and I thought it was just more of look at the team that he had around him at LSU, like
which was fair.
Like, how do you not succeed?
Well, how can you judge a guy who has like everything?
an NFL team in college around him,
and a defense that had like not Devin White, but
Patrick
Queen and like all those guys.
Yeah,
Stingley at corner.
Yeah,
Grant Delpit, like they just had dudes all over the place.
And what was it? They had 22 players drafted off of that team.
Since then, probably.
Yeah. So that is an NFL team, like playing in college. So like that was my what's the word I'm looking for?
Take away from
apprehension.
Yeah, of Joe Burrow coming in the league, but again, I mean he shut everyone up.
That's been my Tua argument. Is I don't think Tua is very good.
I think he's just kind of frail at this point more than anything.
He does have an injury issue. He's played one complete full season since high school.
I feel like when he plays well. I don't think he's like a world beater or anything, but he plays well enough to get you into the playoffs and maybe win you a playoff game. But again, the injuries is definitely starting to catch up to him, and
I mean, there was talk about him maybe retiring.
Yeah, because he had 3 concussions this year.
No,
4?
they didn't count the first one as the Bills one. They didn't count as a concussion.
Really?
Like he came back in the game
and won it.
They said that he had a neck or a back issue when he was wobbling around.
Motherfucker got knocked the fuck out.
Fucking walking like Bambi.
Yeah.
He got knocked out and was like,
that's what they said, man.
He did the Patrick line. Tyreek's down there somewhere.
But yeah, I think to wrap up this NFL talk shortly, Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl. It's best quarterback.
Yeah.
Best quarterback versus best team.
I'm saying in the 2 games, it's best quarterback.
Yeah, I mean,
best quarterback, best coach.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
I do.
I think you guys are the best team
Overall
right now, like left, I think you guys are the best.
Well, I mean, Jalen's 14-1 as a starter.
Yeah, I mean,
just the way
14-1 as a starter, and then he's won the playoff game as dominant value.
I think it's more of your defense that I would give the credit to personally, but I'm just saying I think you guys are the best.
I was about to say O-line, D-line. I would say O-line more credit.
Dominate the trenches.
Yeah, truly do.
Yeah.
But
70 sacks NFL record. O-line rushing for 300 yards. Like, people don't rush for 300 yards in NFL games anymore. No. And they've done it like 4 times this year.
Yeah, but that defense, though, that 49er defense does kind of worry me a little bit.
Yeah.
They do fucking – and I've been saying this, since the halfway point of the season. The one team that scares me in the whole league that I feel like once we meet in the playoffs, Super Bowl, everything, the 49ers is the one team that worries me.
Yeah, there's no weak team in the bunch.
No. But I do think
best teams left, so.
I think the Eagles roster is
top to bottom
much better than the Bengals and the Chiefs. They just have better quarterbacks. So that X factor definitely, you
say,
could throw everything out the window, especially with those two guys.
I would say the Bengals are the second best, are better than the Chiefs roster.
Roster, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it goes Eagles, Niners, and that really is splitting hairs at that point.
I don't think Bengals Chiefs is splitting hairs at all.
No, I think it's
I'm talking about like
Eagles,
teams
Niners.
Teams left in the playoffs. I think it's the Eagles, Niners 1 and 2, and you can really put that either way.
Yes.
And then I think it's the Bengals and then the Chiefs.
Yes,
As
Chiefs
far
have
as,
the
like,
worst roster in
left in the playoffs.
arguably since last weekend. They had the worst. Maybe the Jags had a worse roster.
The Giants. Because they don't really have much.
They have
on
no
offense.
talent. They have no
They
talent
don't have
on
much.
offense.
They have defense, but they don't have shit on offense. They have no receivers. They have
They got
Saquon Barkley,
Saquon.
and that's
That
about
is
it.
it.
Yeah.
And they gave away fucking Tony, which he's now playing pretty well for the Chiefs. So there you go.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go Eagles Bengals.
Joe Burrow gets it done again, huh?
Yeah, but I think the Eagles win the bowl. And I'm completely biased in that. I don't,
Yeah, I'm biased. The Eagles are winning the Super Bowl.
I'm laying that out there right now. I am biased as fuck in my pick. I think the Eagles are going all the way.
So look, to be a supporter,
fucking
I've been
pissed
saying
drunk
since fucking
The
the
Bills
Bills
lost.
were losing. They didn't even lose yet. I was like, fuck it, go Birds. But
Isn't it a fun group to be a part of?
but
Sure
no,
is.
fuck y'all,
Sure
fuck y'all.
is.
But anyways,
You walk downtown. How many? We live nowhere near Eagles fans.
there was 2 people. Go Birds. I was like, fuck you. How about
Well,
that?
It's a
But
fucking-
anyways,
We didn't even play that day.
for y'all's sake, I would like the Birds to win. But one saving grace is if Joe Burrow does pull it off, I could at least be like, oh, I lost to the Super Bowl champs.
Don't hedge your bet.
Oh, God.
So it's one of those.
Lame.
But as long as Patrick doesn't win, because if Patrick wins, I'm going to be pissed.
I mean,
Because fuck the Chiefs.
I wouldn't be upset. I mean, the only
I like the
the
Chiefs,
only
though. That's the
reason I
thing.
would be.
We play them all the time. but
Because
I
it's
actually
probably
like
against us.
Yeah,
Is the only reason.
I would be upset. But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, I mean, he's fucking
think he's-
amazing.
I think
he's fucking
maybe
amazing.
the greatest quarterback of all time.
I
so.
can care less who wins at this point.
Although I will say, if the Eagles don't go to the Super Bowl,
Bit of a disappointment.
it will be a disappointment. But I would not be upset seeing the 49ers win either.
I am not rooting for the Niners at all. I hate fucking Nick Bosa's whole attitude.
he's a fucking hell of a pass rusher.
That race is fucking like tearing ACL as far as I'm concerned. Like
yeah,
fuck
but what
Nick
about
Bosa.
Fred Warner? And,
Great guy, great player.
And
Great player.
and Debo and McCaffrey
Great.
and Ayuk and
Great.
George Kittle.
Great.
I just like their roster.
They have a ton of talent.
Even with what's his name, Harbaugh, when he was their
And just
coach,
the
and they had,
story.
I like when
Purdy.
they're good, like they just have great players all around, and I just as a football
Come the next Tom
fan,
Brady.
I like to see great teams that have great players. Fucking,
They're top to they're complete.
Yeah.
They're a complete
Who tried to
team.
make that comparison the other day? When they were like Brock Purdy, the nobody becoming like the next Tom Brady.
Not me. I pushed back.
Somebody said
against
that, and I was like, what? I know you pushed against it, saying like,
Was it you?
No.
Was
I
it
think
Jordan?
I think you're like,
I think it was
pump the
Jordan.
fucking brakes here.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just easy to make that comparison because he was the 7th round.
It just
pick.
happens
Well,
to-
I was like,
and
he's more
balling.
Kurt Warner than he is Tom Brady.
Yeah, because he's fucking tossing that thing around. Like Kurt Warner was flinging. Tom Brady wasn't really throwing the ball like that his first 5-6 years in the league.
I was just saying because Brady's the GOAT. Like to say somebody's gonna have a Brady like fucking
Careers.
is
It was more of him being like,
No, but
all right,
I-
pump the brakes.
the
'Cause
media-
even
it's easy
Patrick's
for media
career
people-
trajectory is, I don't even think would be Tom.
I think it is now. I think if he wins a second one, you can start having the real conversation about like,
It's just
which is and with the
Still
same
think he
thing
gets
that I
Tom.
just prefaced the Josh Allen conversation. Like, when are we gonna when is it gonna start getting awkward? If Mahomes doesn't win a second one soon, like I'm not gonna say it, but the fucking
start turning into like a Brett
I mean,
Favre
that first
type
take
that shit,
type of
that
thing
shit's
is
gonna
gonna be
happen.
like-
That's gonna happen if he doesn't win it this year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If he doesn't win, like it's gonna be like I don't know.
Especially if he
Another
loses,
Brett Favre,
if he
another
if he
Aaron
loses the
Rodgers,
second
another-
straight AFC Championship at home.
I really don't see that happen. I really think they're gonna not beat the shit out of the Bengals, but I think they're gonna win.
I think the Bengals are gonna beat them. Honestly,
They got
I
Pat
think-
Mahomes, man.
I know, but just every game you've seen of the Bengals Chiefs play, Bengals have their number. They know what they're doing.
They should have won this year though. The Chiefs, Mahomes threw the pick.
That's what I'm saying. Bengals know what they're doing. Though they cause
like
they
we-
cause those issues when they need to cause them. They were fucking us.
Yeah, but
they literally royally fucked us.
But not to be like that guy, like pretentious, like I know more than you type of guy. But
I mean, you
like,
do watch a lot more football.
but like
than I do.
turnovers are a luck based thing. Like all statistics will show you that that's not a repeatable thing. That like In clutch moments, we're always going to get a pick. Like that doesn't happen.
No.
I mean, and that's the 3 times that they beat them have been because of that.
But I mean, like we said in the beginning of this topic, at this point, when you get down to the final 8, the final 4 teams, it is,
it's got to be a perfect game.
It really does come down to like 1 or 2 possessions like that, and if you have,
I still have trust in them.
Oh, and I'm
you're
not
putting your trust in a bad guy.
I'm not going to be the guy like, holy shit,
It's Patrick
that
Mahomes.
was so crazy. Like, no fucking
You're putting
shit,
your trust in a Super Bowl and league MVP. Like,
Patty Holmes, baby. But yeah, like I said,
it.
Bengals, Eagles. Who you got before we sign off? Who's your Super Bowl prediction?
Like I said, I'm going with Bengals and Eagles.
Here we go.
And I hope they all lose.
It's going to be an animal.
All of us lose.
Everybody. Just
no
Super Bowl champ this year. Fuck.
Well, way to be a sore loser. You don't want to see anybody else.
By the way, I don't want to get too ahead of my skis here, but if the Eagles do win, I think it's Jason Kelsey's last game.
No.
I think he retired. For all the conversation that him and Travis have had on their podcast.
Oh, see, you watched. I don't watch their podcast.
Preseason, he was just kind of like, because he was ready to call it quits 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, like, after last year, Jalen was like, give me one more year. Like, he was like, we can do this thing, man. You just got to believe.
Before
right off into the sunset.
I mean, he is like put a fucking statue of Jason. If he is the if he gets this done, like
he is their greatest.
He's probably the greatest Eagle of all time.
Of all time,
like because it's top to like start a career, end a career. Like Reggie White didn't play all of his career. Cunningham didn't play all of his career.
Brian
Vic
Dawkins
didn't play all of his career. Brian Dawkins didn't play all of his career.
Oh fuck, you're right. He went to the fucking Broncos.
Like it'll probably be he'll probably be the best Eagle of all time.
And 2 of them things.
And 2, he's the only he's the guy with 2 rings. Lane would be a part of that too, but
I'm trying to. Man.
Brandon Graham, he would have the biggest moment in either game.
Fletcher Cox.
But the most.
I mean, this core is basically the same. We just switched out the quarterbacks and receivers.
The most consistent fucking.
He
wasn't there. He was drafted the next year.
He was on the team. He didn't play. Derek Barnett was the starting over him.
That's right. Yeah.
Get better, kid. He's got a bad injury. Could you imagine this D-line with that guy on it?
Oh, my God. Yeah, it really is wild, our D-line depth. It really is, like, truly remarkable.
Good. Thank you, Howie Roseman.
For real. Keep on doing what you're doing, bro. We had a couple down years there.
Well, Chip Kelly took your job, so.
Oh, man. All right. Any last words? Anything we want to say before we sign off of another installment?
Fuck it. Go Birds.
Go motherfucking Birds. Fly, Eagles, fly. Everyone love everyone. We'll see you next week.
Love you, Bills.